Hey young world, this is your girl. I am the Bronze Goddess, and today I'm coming to you guys with a strawberry letter. For those of you that watched the last strawberry letter, thank you guys so much for your prayers and your well wishes and everything for her. There is a praise report to announce. She did move into her own place, and she and her family actually very quickly. We were praying for a quick and expeditious result, and that's exactly what she got. So if you haven't watched the first strawberry letter, definitely go back and do so, and please know that that story had a happy ending, and hopefully this one will too. Before I get into this strawberry letter, I want to say, number one, if you guys have something that you want advice or counsel about, or you want somebody else's opinion, feel free to write me a personal message to my inbox, and I will definitely put it out there to everyone if that's what you want. You can remain anonymous if you would like. It's just it's good to be able to use a forum like this to help people, and if you feel like you can't talk to the people around you, it's perfectly fine to be anonymous and get good advice that way. Okay, and secondly, before I get into this strawberry letter, please be mindful that these are real people with real problems, so please be considerate before commenting. So let's go ahead and get into this one. I have my glasses on because I knew it's kind of a lengthy one, so I want to go ahead and read it. Hello, Bronze Goddess. I am trying to find a way to deal with and get past infidelity in my marriage. I found out that my husband was unfaithful back in November of 2009. Every time I think I'm past it, the thoughts seem to come back. I'm talking about I can't go 2 full weeks without thinking about it or bringing it up. He's a wonderful man, and that's why I can't seem to get past what he did. I keep trying to tell him how much he hurt me, but every time we talk about it, we argue, and it seems like he gets madder than me. He keeps telling me that he wants to be with me, but I don't understand. If he wants to be with me, why did he still choose to start seeing her? I just need some help in trying to forget and forgive, because it's making me a different person. We can disagree about small things, and I think about what he did and I just get mad. He's worth fighting for, but I can't stand to be hurt again. Now she goes on a little bit more, but I don't want to read the rest of it because I think it will identify who she is, and I think she wants to be anonymous. So I wanted to go ahead and put this out there for you guys. If you have some advice for her or anything like that, please post your comments, your video responses. I'm sure she would love to hear from you. And I'm going to go ahead and give my 2 cents really quickly. First and foremost, the foundation or basis for any relationship is trust. That is very important. And once that trust is broken, it takes effort on both parties' parts to heal everything that's going on, or to rebuild the trust, and to kind of get back to a good place in your relationship. For me, the best analogy to use is that trust is like a wall. Once you do something to break that trust, it's like knocking down a wall. And just because you apologize, just because you say you're sorry, does not mean that wall is going to instantly go back up. You have to rebuild that wall brick by brick by brick. And how you rebuild that wall and get that trust back is by, to me, being transparent. The best way for your husband to begin rebuilding the wall and regaining your trust is for him to be very transparent and very open about everything. That's kind of letting go of his privacy for a while until you feel like you can trust him. That means if you decide that you want to look at his email, you should be able to do that. If you want to look at his phone, you should be able to do that. Because of the fact that he kept a secret relationship from you, I think that for him to kind of get your trust back, he has to prove himself trustworthy, which means that you should be, if that makes you feel better, I think that's something that you should be able to do. Also, I suggest that you all go to some kind of counseling, whether it be at your church or a psychiatrist or psychologist or some kind of professional, so that you guys can talk about your issues. I do suggest counseling if you guys are involved in your church. Your pastor or your bishop or whoever is a great person to talk to, because you know it's going to be confidential, and you know that your pastor cares about you, and it's just going to be on an even playing field if you do it like that. So I definitely suggest you speak to someone. And when I say speak to someone, I don't necessarily mean your mama. I had a video out recently. It was called, I'm gonna tell your mama. When things like this happen, you don't want to confide too much into your family and your friends, because of the fact that if you decide to get over this infidelity, a lot of times your family and friends who love you and care about you, they may not be over it as quickly as you are over it. And they may never forgive that person. And so if you tell, say for instance, you tell your mom, or you tell your best friend, or whoever what happened, if you decide to stay with your husband, they are still going to have that animosity in their heart towards this person. They're still, once you open Pandora's box, you can't close it. So just be careful who you confide in. That's why I say a pastor or a bishop or somebody like that, because that's a neutral party. They have to keep it confidential. But if you tell your family or friends, they're going to make a judgment about him. And if you decide to stay with your husband, it's definitely going to put a strain on the relationship. Also, I would suggest that you find a way to talk without arguing. You said in your letter that every time you talk, you end up arguing and that he ends up getting madder than you. What I would suggest is that maybe you guys can get like a ball or some kind of an object, and you can sit down and talk like adults, and you can say, hey, only the person who's holding the ball can talk. And that may seem really simple, but if you're trying to talk to each other at the same time, then nobody's really listening. So you need to either speak in front of a mediator or a counselor, or if you're not going to go that route, be mature enough about it to sit down and have a conversation about it where you're listening to each other, where you're not talking at the same time. Because I think, what's really important is that you identify what went wrong in the relationship. And if you're too emotionally charged, if you're crying or you're upset or you're yelling, you're not really getting what you need out of that conversation. You need to find out why. A lot of times as women, our thought process for something like this is totally different from a man's perspective. A woman may say, I'm way prettier than her. I don't understand why. But for a man, it may not be about that. It may be that, he, may not feel like he was getting enough support from you. Maybe he felt like you guys weren't connecting. Maybe he had an issue with, you never know what he's going to say. So rather than assuming that you know why he did what he did, you need to sit down and you need to hear from his lips why he did what he did, to see if it's something that you can even change and something that you guys can actually work on. If he feels like you're never there or you work too much, something that you can change, you can say, okay, well, instead of working 40 hours a week, I can consider doing a part-time job so I'm here more, or whatever the issue is. You need to find out from him why he did what he did. And when you do that, you need to be careful of how much information you get. And I mean, if you don't want the intimate details playing out in your mind, don't ask. I don't suggest you ask exactly what they were doing together as far as the intimate part of that relationship, because that's going to be a mental picture that you don't need in your head. You just need to find the root cause. Why? He could say, I needed a friend, and she started off as a friend. And you say, well, why don't you consider me a friend? Or what could we do to build our friendship? Because you have to be friends first. Also, you didn't say in the letter if you have children. If you have children, I think that it's even more important that you do try everything that you can, that you have to exhaust all your resources. When children are involved, it is extremely important. Because one day your child may come to you and say, Mom, why didn't the relationship with you and Dad work? And you're going to have to give an answer. And rather than saying, I was mad at the time, so I left your father, that's really not going to be a good answer to give your child. Or, everybody found out about it and I was embarrassed, or whatever the situation is. You need to be able to look your child in the face and say, your father and I tried everything we could. We went to counseling. We went to a couples retreat. We read books. We prayed together. We did everything we could. And I'm sorry, but it didn't work. At least you can say that to your child with a clear conscience that you tried, rather than just saying, I was upset and I still love your father, but I just couldn't, you don't want to say that. You want to be able to say, we tried everything. And after trying everything, we just couldn't get over this. And that's what happened with our relationship. That's going to make it a little bit easier for your child to understand that at least they tried for my sake to make it work. And last but not least, You need to take all the time you need to heal. You know, a lot of times when someone is like your husband in this situation is the one who did something wrong, they want you to hurry up and get over it. Just because you apologize doesn't mean somebody's going to hurry up and get over it. You should be able to take as much time as you need to get over it. This is a huge, huge issue. This isn't something, you guys aren't boyfriend and girlfriend, even though that's still wrong. You guys were married. And even according to the Bible, adultery is an offense that you can, even under God's eyes, get divorced from. So I think you can take all the time you need to decide if this relationship is worth saving and if you still want to be in the relationship. You guys have to be on the same page. In a situation like this, with something so major that happened, this is more than 50-50. This is him giving his 100% and you giving yours if you want to make this work. But he needs to be, I mean, for me to be honest, I would have felt a little bit better if he wrote this letter. You didn't do anything wrong. There isn't anything really that you are trying to fix. To me, if this is my situation, you did the wrong. You need to be trying to convince me. You need to be saying, baby, whatever I got to do to prove to you that I'm going to be faithful, that this will never happen again, I'm willing to do that. If you want to check my phone, if you want to check my email, whatever I have to do, I don't care how long it takes. If you want me to sleep on the couch, I'll sleep on the couch. He needs to be doing whatever it takes to prove to you that he can be trustworthy again and that you can trust him again. And to me, if you feel like you're not getting that effort and he's kind of like, hurry up and get over it, then that's on you. If you haven't prayed about the situation, that is the very first thing that you should be doing. You should definitely be praying about the situation because this is really major. And like I said, even in Bible terms, you know, it's kind of laid out there that you do have grounds if that's what you decide to do. But a lot of times people give up on their marriages, and marriages, it is a lot of work. But if you love your husband, and to me it sounds like you obviously do, you know, you said it more than one time in this letter that he is a good man and that he's worth fighting for and all that. I hear that you love him. You know, I'm hoping that he's showing you that same love in return, and that he's showing you how hard he's willing to work to regain your trust. Because this isn't something that you by yourself should be trying to fix. He needs to be showing you that he's willing to try to get your trust back and to prove to you that he's trustworthy. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. He needs to be wooing you. He needs to be trying to get you back. It seems like you're doing the work. You need him to meet you halfway, at least, to show you this effort. That's my opinion. For those of you out there who are watching, she definitely needs help. If you could please leave your comments, your video responses and everything below, and try to help the sister out. It's really, it's a sad situation, but there could be a happy ending if they could work everything out for the best. So anyway, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And anyway, my camera always dies. Rate, comment, and subscribe, and please give her some good advice for what she should do. And like I said in the beginning, please keep in mind that she's a real person with real feelings, so please be gentle, all right? I will see you, ladies and gentlemen, in the next video. Till next time, later, divas. Peace.